Welcome everybody. Today is going to be an uplifting, inspiring, and hopefully informative walk and talk with Chris Day with reflective and relaxing scenery. So, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you could be with me today as I do a little walk and talk. I thought today I might mention just some of the things that I've been thinking about as far as maybe some difficulties as a novice, as a person that hasn't done vlogging before. Some of the difficulties in doing this and putting your life on the internet. I thought of 5 things. Well, I thought a whole lot more, but I thought of 5 things that are maybe a little bit difficult for me, and I thought it may assist somebody else that's out there and maybe even get some of you to know me a little bit better. When I was young, I was in my teen years, I was a public address announcer, sporting events, and I even had a radio show. And then later in life, I also did some radio with some athletic events. And so it's not that I have a hard time talking. May become somewhat easy, but I guess when you put a camera in front of somebody, it becomes a little bit different. And so I thought of a few things. The first one was talking to a camera versus talking to a person. So like I'm looking at a camera right now and I'm not talking to anybody. In fact, there's nobody anywhere near me. I'm out on a lake talking it seemingly to myself, which, you know, if you do a whole lot of that, they put you in a special hospital somewhere. But I guess when you are vlogging, that's what you're supposed to be doing. But I guess when you're talking to a camera and looking at a camera instead of having another person here, it's just difficult when you're first starting out, I guess, in vlogging. I'm sure it'll get easier. I'm sure it'll get better as I get more and more videos under my belt. But I guess talking to yourself without another person, somewhat difficult. I guess going along with that whole thing of talking to a camera instead of talking to a person is that I have a sense of humor that's, I don't know, a little bit different and odd. And so, you know, when I first started doing videos, or I guess when anybody starts doing videos, your sense of humor, I guess, really doesn't come across to people quite the way you want it to in the beginning. So you kind of have to, I guess, have a library of videos that you do over time that makes it easier for people to get to know your sense of humor. And that's one of the things I want this channel to be, is to be something that's just fun, something that's interesting, but also something that's makes you laugh. And I guess my sense of humor sometimes is odd. So when I was in the teaching profession, I used to tell my students that the reason I became a teacher was because I got tired of the life of a male model and all the demands on my life. So that's kind of the sense of humor that I have, you know. Or if you look at a picture like this, you know, you can tell that that's just part of my humor. And people may look at me and say, "Really? You were a male model? Really? Really?" So you just kind of want your sense of humor, or at least I do, want it to come across to everybody that watches these videos. It's just something that's funny and hopefully gives you a little laugh during the day. So I guess another thing that's a little bit difficult is to come up with content all the time for new videos. And, you know, I live in a small town in the South. I don't live, you know, near Disney World or New York City or anything like that, so there's not like a billion things to do. But at the same time, there's lots of things in a small town that people can be interested in seeing, and things that I want to do. But obviously I want to go on trips and take you along with me when I do travel. But coming up with good content, you know, that's going to be something. But you know, if you look on YouTube though, there's something for everybody. I mean, you could go out and, I guess, vlog about trash cans in a parking lot, and people would be interested in that. Somebody would be. So it's not like there's not things to do, but you have to constantly be coming up with an idea. And so I know that's going to be somewhat difficult at the beginning, but then we'll get used to it and throw out, I'm sure, some really, really cool things for you. So another difficulty that I thought about was, for me, I guess this is just a personalized difficulty because, again, I came from the teaching profession. And so, well, let me give you an example. I was letting my wife preview one of the videos that I had made before I put it up on YouTube. And I said, what do you think about it? And she said, you just got to make sure that you're conversational with the audience and not trying to be a teacher. And so for me, that's going to be an adjustment because, you know, when you're in the education business for 20 plus years, obviously that's what you become good at some degree. And so I don't want to be a teacher. I don't necessarily want to be a teacher online vlogging about things. You know, I just want to be conversational and take you along to let you see things. But from time to time, you may hear me, you know, give a lesson about something that I'm letting you come along to see. But I promise there won't be any tests or quizzes at the end. Maybe another thing I've been kind of debating back and forth is, I guess, the struggle of how to open and close a video. Maybe vloggers struggle a little bit with that. And, you know, I've watched other people who vlog and they open their video with a kind of a welcome and they kind of tell everybody what they're going to do for the day. And then there's others that just kind of open the video and just go right to it, you know. I guess vloggers want to be able to, you know, capture their audience real quick so that when they are, you know, on their adventure, that everybody's willing to stick around. You got to get that at least 30 seconds in for somebody to count as a view on your video. So you want to at least capture them for those first 30 seconds. And then, you know, on the other side is how do you end the video? You know, once you've shot your content and you've kind of shown what you're going to do for the day, especially as a vlogger, where you've gone and what you've decided to do, what you've talked about. You know, do you close the video out with kind of repeating everything? And I've seen some people do that, and to me that just seems kind of annoying. And so, you know, to close the video, you just say, hey, this is what we've done today, glad you joined me, and we'll see you later else. But anyway, those are kind of things that I think that a new vlogger kind of debates and maybe struggles with a little bit, is how do you open and close, and do you have music, do you not have music, and all that good stuff. But anyway, just something I was thinking about as a new vlogger and pondering how to do those couple of things in my upcoming videos. Last thing I was going to say about difficulties with learning this whole concept of vlogging is how to get the right camera angle. I mean, do you do things where they're right up in your face and too close? I mean, this is way too close, obviously. Or how about the way too far away angle? And then dramatically you walk that way. Or do you show people the scenery while you're talking instead of them looking right directly in your face? Do you do the side angle, which is probably very stupid looking right now? How about the angle from behind? It's kind of hard to do this when you're vlogging. How about the really, really low angle? I'll never understand this angle. Why anybody would want to photograph themselves this way, especially if they're in a restaurant eating. Please don't do that. Please don't do it. That's my teacher coming out. Now, if you think about it, this angle is probably the most normal, because if you're talking to somebody, they're usually walking to your side and you're kind of walking down a beach or walking down a shore of a lake like this. And this would be normal talking, right? Instead of like this and looking at somebody like this. I mean, the person that you're talking to or you're with is not in your face in front of you walking. They're to the side over here. And so this would be the normal way of talking to somebody. But if you're looking at this on the camera, it just looks weird, right? My favorite angle is what I call the CSI Miami David Caruso angle. And that's where you look dramatically, you look back dramatically, and you say something like this: "Well, Frank, that's one of the most interesting angles I've ever seen." Well, I guess that's going to do it for today. Hopefully this has been somewhat entertaining and enlightening into the world of vlogging. If you're a new vlogger like me, maybe it's given you some comfort in knowing that some of the struggles you're going through are some of the struggles that I'm having as a novice. But it's been great to have you along today as I just kind of walk the shores of the lake here in small town, South Carolina. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, see you later.